Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 23. So, this was like the big title fight all of us manga readers have been waiting for. And to basically all the anime onlys out there, I want you to kind of imagine, okay, for a second. To have all the anime onlys, imagine a period in time, if you will, when the content of this episode was debated by even those who liked it as being a copy of the Naruto vs. Sasuke fight. And while I will admit I still can't deny there are some similarities, revisiting this material has actually made me realize how much Horikoshi made this trope his own. Like, the main difference, of course, being with Bakugo and why he's fighting Izuku. With this fight, Bakugo basically openly admits he's weak, and he's using this battle as a means to just basically let out all his frustrations to basically let out all of his frustration of just how much he actually blames himself for what happened to All Might. It's basically to Bakugo, none of this is about revenge. It's about self-forgiveness and basically him coming to terms with what happened. Like, he's just trying to find pretty much some kind of semblance of, he was trying to find some semblance of closure in all this. And I'm not gonna lie, pretty much like the first Naruto versus Sasuke main fight, I won't deny in that aspect that there is there is definitely a jealousy aspect to what Bakugo's feeling in this fight, but even the jealousy aspect of what Bakugo's feeling, it still ties back to his frustration because he wants, he wants some kind of clarity of why things played out the way they did, and the saddest part about this is, for pretty much as much as Bakugo is blaming himself for pretty much everything. Like, he basically blames himself for not even being strong enough in order to prevent what happened to All Might. The sad thing is, Bakugo was basically feeling some rather, they were understandable feelings, but they were pretty much feelings that he couldn't just that were kind of, they were things that were just kind of impossible, pretty much, and beyond his control from the get go. Everything, even if he could have done something, he couldn't have prevented what would basically happen to All Might. What basically happened to All Might in the fight with All For One, it was kind of an inevitability. Pretty much the moment Izuku inherited One For All, it was bound to happen either way, and I think to a certain degree, I think Bakugo also realizes this, which is basically why he even challenged Izuku to begin with. He wanted he said in the beginning, even before this fight began, he wanted to see what it was about Izuku that pretty much made him, what it was about Izuku that made All Might even give up his power to begin with. And even gave up his power to begin with because he couldn't understand as to why All Might chose Izuku over him, I guess, too. It's him as well, so there's that too. And of course, Izuku himself also gained a lot of development in this rematch, and even kind of going off everything I've said so far, another intriguing aspect about this fight to me is, above everything else, and pretty much no matter what happened in this fight, what was basically happening is that, like I said, Bakugo was testing him to see why he was chosen, and on top of that, I also feel that this episode portrayed the whole rival relationship in a very grounded and understandable way. Even though both Izuku and Bakugo have things that they basically hate about each other, there's still just enough things that they can respect about each other to actually help each other grow stronger and think stronger, whether it was intentional or not. I think I think with Bakugo, I think it was one part intentional, but also it was half and half. Like I think half of it was unintentional, an unintentional part to make him stronger, but another half was an intentional part to make him stronger. Like with Bakugo, like I said, Bakugo was trying to see what it was about Izuku that was so special. So in a way, he was testing Izuku in order to make him stronger. So this is just another step up for Izuku too, and and that whole and that just them duking out the way they did, it actually allowed. And Izuku being pushed to those extremes that Bakugo pushed him to, it actually allowed Izuku to go from 5% to 8%. Although whether or not although in terms of whether or not that's going to be permanent, I'm not sure. Because Izuku's inner monologue seems to suggest that it was kind of on that it was on the fly, but it could mean that we probably might that this might be that even if it was like. Even if he wasn't even thinking about it, it could mean he might have gained that extra bit of strength permanently. So, who knows? And an All Might said it best in this episode. All Might said it best. Like the perfect personification of what Bakugo and Izuku's rivalry is like. They're the perfect rivals because they compensate for something the other lacks. And that scene after the end credits with Bakugo giving Izuku advice was the topper of all that. And so from here, Bakugo and Izuku's development as a duo is kind of insane to think about. Like it really is. The sky's the limit for pretty much these two. And also, okay, one thing I thought about while watching this episode too is that. Okay, it's been official that Bakugo, Izuku, and All Might are aware of this secret. So, okay, pretty much for now, it is just going to be the three of them who know. Like, aside from the principal and the nurse, of course, and aside from the principal and recovery girl, of course. But I'm not going to say it's going to happen right away, but I almost want to imagine that somewhere in the near future, that possibly almost everyone in Class 1A might eventually learn of Izuku's secret, or at the very least Ochako and Ida, because those two have definitely become like Izuku's best friends in this whole. Ever since he's been to UA, so yeah, I imagine if there's anyone else who's gonna find out about it, it's gonna be those two for sure. Because like I said, that they are like his best friends at UA. So yeah, and I imagine that there might be gradually more people who kind of figure out eventually for sure. Or if not, then something's gonna happen where Shigaraki probably exposes the whole damn thing. But yeah, so. So now that I've gotten over all that good shit, our good friend Yonko Productions on Twitter, pretty much said we can thank our good friend Yonko Productions on Twitter. We can just thanks to our good friend Yonko Productions on Twitter, we can just see from watching this episode that Bones got a crack team of animators working on this episode, including the Sakuga master himself, pretty much YUTAKA Nakamura. And I think there was another one, I forget his name, but he was also the one who did the explosion animation, and that shit was epic too. Like, just like I said, Bones got a fucking crack team of animators on this episode, and it really shows in all the best ways possible, because the animation was very fluid, very fast, and very action-packed this week. Now, I think I will admit, like, the trade-off to that was maybe that the art did take a bit of a dip every now and then, but like certain character models did seem a little off. But other than that, like, the animation was on par. Like, oh god, and this is one thing which I can safely say that this is one of those things where I can safely say that an episode like this, it really enforces why I like Bones as a studio so much. They're not perfect, and they have made stumbles in the past with with basically trying to make a series, a series. With basically that they have made times where they make a series just kind of anime only, like Soul Eater, for instance, or Noragami. But at the same time, I can't help but admire them for pretty much putting their best damn foot forward. Like that's one thing that's I've always admired about Bones, is that they always put their best damn foot forward, and it shows. Uh, and and especially when it really counts. And also, another thing I heard from Yonko's Twitter feed a while back is that we also have an idea on how this season is going to end. Apparently, it's going to end right on the cusp of the start of the next arc. So, going off that, I imagine season 3 is going to end similarly to how season 2 did. If I've got this correctly, like I think how it's going to work out, probably how we're going to see it end, is that it's going to take place in the classroom, and Aizawa is going to announce the start of the internships, which is going to be the start of the internship arc or something like that. Like that's kind of how I see it going. So it might end a little like season 2. So yeah. Of course, the episode couldn't go without some kind of comedy, and the scene of Aizawa chastising both Bakugo and Izuku was the perfect way to end to do it, because it kept it grounded in the fact that this is still a school setting, and the kinds of actions like fighting each other that isn't in a controlled environment is gonna have consequences, while still providing like the perfect amount of levity to lighten the mood after things were so heavy, but never enough to where the transition felt unnatural either. Although, and I'm sure some might find that switch between how heavy the first like 15 or 16 minutes of this episode was, and how it switched over to being just like to being comedic after that. But I think some might find that jarring, but I think it worked here because the whole purpose of this fight and the whole setup of the fight was basically done where there wasn't really even any intention of Bakugo basically Bakugo abandoning UA and going to join the villains after everything was said and done. Like it wouldn't make sense because we already went through basically something like that with basically what happened in the Hideout Raid arc. So yeah, the series is taking little moments we might see in other shonen and kind of just reworking them in a way where it's still its own thing too. Now, if I did have one problem, and believe me, it's just a very minor thing that's not even connected to the episode itself, is that aside from an episode coming up that focuses on a certain villain, again, revisiting this material has made me realize just how fillery everything else is. I mean, the stuff with the exam serves its purpose, and you could say Bakugo failing the exam is the final straw that broke the camel's back and finally kind of said, okay, yeah, I need to find out what officially is going on here. But yeah, I won't deny everything in this arc, everything that happened previously in this arc really just was build up to basically this fight, which is honestly one of the major highlights of this arc, to be sure. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Crunchyroll, or any list. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.